Welcome everybody to another quick tips video with some errors. Today we're not going to have only one tip for you but 12, and all of them are going to be about how to have a cleaner build, remove the clutter, and just have your factory look nicer. The video will start with more or less beginner tips and are going to get for more and more advanced players toward that. So I hope there will be something for everybody in there. But if not, or if you know something else or have tips yourself which I didn't cover, feel free to post it in the commentary. I would love to read them, and I'm sure Ava would benefit from them as well. And if you have more in-depth questions or have problems, I'm streaming usually on Tuesdays on Twitch. Feel free to hop in there and ask your questions. I'm always happy to explain stuff. But now, tip number 1. Rebuild. You can always rebuild everything. The resources you get back for dismantling something is exactly the same than you needed to build it in the first place. So if you didn't place something right, dismantle it, rebuild it again. And especially in the beginning, there are just some texts you don't have yet, and you need to build a clean factory. That's base building and logistics, and I would strongly advertise for obstacle clearance and the resourcing bonus program. Those 2 to 4 texts you should unlock before even starting to really think about building a tidy base. That means just build somewhat in the beginning so you get forward, so you get some automation done, and rebuild a tidy base when you unlock those 4 texts. And tip number 2, also something you probably want to do before you build your first factory: build concrete. You're going to need thousands of concrete. I like to have at least 2, best are 3 constructors producing concrete in the early game, under full load with about 3 or 4 containers stuck to them. And you're really going to need this concrete. If you don't have those constructors yet, don't even think about starting to build a base. You're going to run out of concrete so fast, it's not even funny. Also, when you have unlocked logistics, you should be able to feed all 3 of those constructors with 1 pure limestone node. And that brings us directly to tip number 3. Use foundations whenever possible. Placing machines and belts and everything on foundations just make it so much easier, or even possible, to build clean builds and factories. And this goes for a lot. Like, did you know that you can place a foundation on a deposit and build a mine on top? So yeah, do that. Place a building around, place maybe a train station in it, and you have a clean mining outpost. Also, you're going to need more space than you think. If you figured out a space requirement for a factory you want to build, triple that size, and then, well, triple it again. Believe me, you will thank me later. Tip number 4. Build conveyors and power lines in straight lines as much as possible. That helps a lot with cleanliness of the factory. 45 degrees are fine as well, if used right, but that's it. The tip is so short, but it's one of the most important things you should remember and should do to have clean builds. Use those straight lines. Tip number 5. Build vertically. That means not just build floors on top of that, which will help you a lot with cleaner and better looking factories, but also in a floor as well. You can place belts under or over the machines, which really can do wonders. And you can even build stacks of machines, which look good as well. Tip number 6. A little bit chaos is a good thing. Embrace it. This might sound a little bit counterproductive, but it really isn't. If you have a little bit room or a corner in a room where you don't have machines in it, just cut it out, make a balcony out of it. If you need a little bit more place in the room, don't stuff everything in it that it fits somehow. Just make the room a little bit bigger, make an overhang to the outside of the factory, and place some supports so the overhang doesn't seems to be floating nothing. The correct room sizes will make your factory look cleaner and look more interesting in the same time. Tip number 7, avoid main hubs. Okay, this might be a little bit controversial. So, all of the things I'm telling you here are just tips. Doesn't mean you need to always follow them, and there are always exceptions where maybe not following a tip will make for better or cleaner look. And that goes especially for main hubs. But in average, especially when you're a factory player, you might want to build main hubs. Main hubs seldom are the answer. So the stuff you're building is normally only used in 1 or 2 other projects, which makes main hubs more or less useless and just takes a lot of space, and often the going to and from the main hub will just clutter your base. A good main hub might be beneficial to the cleanliness, but it's really hard to do. Tip number 8. Use your walls. Running power lines and belts along your wall will tidy up your factory in no time. Also, tip number 9. Use the outside as well. By running pipelines and belts on the outside, you can make the outside look more interesting and the inside a bit cleaner. Tip number 10. Did you know that you can place not only supports but pipeline crossings and pumps on a wall or on the foundation first? This helps to clean up your pipeline mess a lot. Tip number 11. Use less pumps on pipelines that go uphill. So this is a little bit more technical, but it boils down to that the head lift in a pipe system is always the same for the whole pipeline system unless interrupted by a pump. That means if you bring 10 pipelines uphill, just build pumps on the pipeline which goes to the highest and cross connect all those pipes on the bottom and on the top. And all of the pipelines suddenly will have the head lift which you produce with the pumps in the middle, and you don't need to place pumps on the other pipes. Tip number 12. Run belts under your ceiling. You can do that by building 2-meter foundations under a ceiling, and either place a conveyor wall or wall with wall supports on those, or delete the upper one and place stackable support and a support on that, and then delete the last foundation. That is an easy way to remove your belt or pipeline spaghetti and tidy up your factory. Well, that's it for today. I hope you found it helpful. Like I told you in the beginning, feel free to write something in commentary. I would really appreciate it. Also, of course, subscribe and like if you think it's worth it. And I have a Discord server. You might join them if you have any questions, or ask them Tuesdays in my Twitch stream. Bye bye!